Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Computer Wednesday, I'm going to talk about PC upgrades during this era of shortages. So fun thing you have to understand about this shortage is that every single PC component is going ludicrously priced. So basically graphics card that was super cheap, super like nobody cared, like people were like just please buy it from me so I have stock space. Even those kind of card like GTX 1050 cards, basically low profile card, even those are selling for ludicrously high prices. They were like 5,000 rupees to 6,000 rupees. Now they are charging like 15,000 because everything is bonkers at this point in time. Now you may be like, okay, I'll hold on to my current computer and be like, I'm just gonna wait it out. Unfortunately, bad news around this is that it's gonna take years, or worst case scenario, if it drags on for too long, this will become the quote unquote new normal. This sort of thing have happened in PC industry. Like for example, when hard drive platters, basically the primary factory that was manufacturing for the whole world wide web, basically went underwater during flooding. The prices of hard drive went up, but they never came down. Even though the factory was rebuilt, they was much more efficient, much more like you would think, okay, price will come down. It never came down. Like it became the new normal. So this happens. So be ready for that kind of a bitch slap of reality, where it's like, no, computers are like 10 times more expensive now. So it could take years to normalize. So for many people are making the gamble right now. It's like, okay, we have to buy it right now because I do not know what will happen tomorrow. And not to mention, there are like already a rumor that there is a Bitcoin type of blockchain system that is like utilizing hard drive. Even hard drives prices are starting to going up. So it is very brutal. Now, how can you handle this situation? Well, there are many things that you generally won't do if you have the money, but you have to do if you don't have money, like a lot of money. So basically you will try to buy things that you can pass on. So let's say you have a computer A and then virtual computer B, which you will buy once you have enough money, and you are on your computer A and it's not good enough. What the hell are you supposed to do? You basically supposed to upgrade in such a way that it becomes something that you can pass on to virtual B once you actually buy the system. So basically buy things in the mind where it's like, no, I can pass this on. So it's not like, okay, this thing is tied to my this whole equipment. That is why you have to think it a bit differently. And everything you are basically money that you are spending, you have to think carefully about spending to performance gain. Basically do not overspend, and especially on an old computer or really old computer, do not go bonkers, but be very mindful about this. You are spending, your money is limited, you have to be mindful about that. It's like, am I gaining the proportional performance about this? So that is one way to handle this sort of shortage scenario, or having low money where you are like, okay, I have to jump from upgrade to upgrade rather than getting, okay, one new system from scratch. If you can't afford to do that, this video is for you. Now, assuming you have a computer, the first thing and most likely thing that you want to upgrade and can upgrade is GPU. The primary reason for that is like, even though we have made some good progress in computer industry as a processor department, and Ryzen 5000 is awesome, it's generally for most people, you have to buy a CPU, motherboard and RAM also. So you have to be in a scenario where you are capable of affording all these three things. And there is a very good chance, if you do not have very deep pockets, you will buy things that are like compromised, motherboards that are like not utilizing the latest chipset. So they are like, even if tomorrow there is a new cutting edge processor, you have to buy a new motherboard again. Or you may be in a scenario where it's like, okay, I've spent all my money on motherboard and processor, but I only have 8 GB of RAM. So you could be compromised in that way, because these three things generally are considered as a package deal. Now it's okay to upgrade them if you have the money and that's the only weak link in your system, upgrade that. But generally GPU is the much more wiser choice, simply because it's very easy to transplant. Like for example, I have GTX 1070. Now this is a new system upgrade. I did the same thing. I'm telling you, I did that because before this I upgraded my Core 2 Duo system to basically AMD FX 8350. I know Bulldozer was bad, but at that time, for that price to performance ratios was really good, I bought it. It was like, okay. And that time I was like working in a company and all that jazz, so like I never had to work on my own system. It was like, okay, I have a system. So I had a very low level graphics card, ATI 570, I think, something like that. So it was very low level graphics. I upgraded the graphics card. Now is my graphics card basically not performing to its maximum specs? Absolutely, it's like bottlenecked. But be mindful, compared to my old system, it's flying out like a flat out. In my old computers, like if there is a new AAA game, I'm like, I can't open this. Like I worked in AAA game industry, I have my names on AAA game, I can't open those games because my old graphics card is like, bro, it will take half an hour to load Crysis. So it's like I can't do anything. But the moment I upgrade to 1070, I can do all those. Yes, my performance of 1070 is, let's say it's capable of 100 horsepower, I'm only getting, let's say, 60 or 70 horsepower, but still much more than 5 or 6 horsepower that I used to have. So bottlenecks, yes, they are something that you want to avoid, but they are not unbearable. You can easily bear it. And if you are in a scenario where, because of normalization that is already when people are like giving up, you may find you can buy a very overpowered graphics card for kind of closer to MSRP than lower end card. Like let's say 3080 is for like very high demand, 3080 scalper prices is higher than 3090. You may be like, hey, that seller has that 3090, nobody is buying because it's 3090. That people see the first time 3090 and they're like, dude, this is only $2,000. This is like 3080 is like 8,000. You're like, I can buy that. So don't be in that, oh, I will bottleneck it. Don't worry about that. It's gonna be easily utilized. Of course, not utilized to the upper limit, but it will be utilized. And when you're gonna upgrade to your new system, new motherboard, processor, and RAM, you will have something that can take care of the situation. And it flat out will make most games that right now you are having hard time playable. Flat out, I can guarantee that. So that's why GPU is one of those things that you can easily upgrade, and reason why CPU, motherboard, and RAM is not considered, because those three are generally a package deal. If you can afford that, or like you have a good GPU and you're like, okay, my processor, motherboard, RAM is the weak part, then upgrade those three. But all three have to be upgraded at once. Then we come to another aspect, SSD. Now there is a very good chance if you're watching my video you have SSDs, but if you're not, what are you doing? So get a SSD. Now SATA SSD are good, especially if you're coming from a computer that are like 5-6 years old. SATA SSD are good, but NVMe is better, because SATA is like development on SATA has been stopped. I have not even heard of rumor that SATA 4 or SATA 5 has been bought, because more companies are switching to NVMe. Now NVMe runs on PCI Express, so it's awesome. But here's the deal: what to do if your motherboard does not have NVMe slots? Thankfully, because it's a normal straight copper connection to basically PCI Express, you can buy cards. If you want to do something very high end, basically like, hey, all I need in my computer is like NVMe SSD, like I want 2 NVMe, 4 NVME, because let's say you are working on 8K video files, you can buy cards like this ASUS card. I have provided the Amazon link down below, and this card will allow you to mount easily 4 NVMe SSD running at full speed if you have a 16x slot. Now be mindful, most motherboard, even though they show 16x slot, they will be like 1 16x, 1 4x, or 1 8x. Now will this thing work? Yes, but it will be compromised a bit, so be mindful of that. Now in the other scenario where it's like, dude, I don't have that kind of GG amount of money, you can buy something cheaper, where it's like just 4x to a basically PCI. That's super cheap. This is less than 1,000 rupees. You can easily buy that like anywhere online. I have provided a link down below. And here's the interesting thing: this thing you can directly swap into your next motherboard. Now you may be like, can't I remove this from basically this PCI? Generally good chances, if you're buying this, I would advise you to buy PCI 3.0 but higher capacity. And when you are buying your new motherboard, buy PCI 4.0 high speed, so you get your OS on that and your main storage in this. Or if you're like, dude, I have bigger hard drives and SSDs, I don't want to have like A, B, C, T. Many people don't like clutter, and I can understand that. In those sort of scenarios, you can buy a external USB C enclosure that is gonna give you 10 Gbps of read-write speed capability. Link provided down below, so you can utilize this. So do not be in a situation it's like, oh, only if I had NVMe. NVMe is surprisingly easy to add. If you have even a lower end to mid-range motherboard, there is a very good chance you have an unutilized 4x or 8x slot which can easily accept 1 NVMe, and with a little bit of effort you can easily find some other situation where you're like, okay, I can easily utilize NVMe with full performance. Now will it be as amazing as like having a dedicated chipset for that? No. But would it be better than your SATA system? Absolutely. So be mindful of, do not be like in a situation like, do I need to buy basically NVMe? Shouldn't I buy SATA? Try to avoid SATA as far as possible, because that would be very hard to transplant into your system. It's like it will become a fancy pen drive. So be mindful. Now we come to power supply unit. Now there was a trend in past year. Basically very early on, everybody's like, buy as big of a power supply as you can. Like people like were going bonkers, like 600 watt, 800 watt, 900 watt, 1000 watt, 1 kilowatt, 1200 watts. So people were going bonkers back then. Then it started to come down, because like efficiency improvement, and GTX 9000 series was really power efficient. So demand went down and all that. So everybody's like, yeah, now 400, 500 people started to buy more and more. But because this time RTX was a bit overpowered, as in like the power drain of the system went too high. So generally graphics card are locked kind of in around 200 watt of power bracket, but due to overclocking and kind of go YOLO kind of approach this time, they can go ludicrously at 300 watts or even 350 watts, or sometimes touching 400 watts. That is so goddamn high that your power supply, even though it has the ability to handle that kind of load, it will freak out because of the spike, and the moment it detects spike, it will shut down. So many people had that issue. It's like on paper a 600 watt power supply should easily able to handle 3080, but the moment they did that, it's like it's not doing that. Like you can do 3060, 3070, you are risking it, but like it should be easily able to handle. But 3080 no, and 3090 good luck with that. So at this point in time, people have realized that one of the longest lasting component on PC is power supply. So if you have a big beefy power supply and from a good brand, you can easily last for very 2, 3, or even 4 computer upgrades. Do not be surprised by that. So higher wattage are generally better for the long run, simply because capacitors in these things will degrade over time. So if they are degrading, let's say it has the capacity to handle 1 kilowatt of electrical load, it's like awesome, I got this. But let's say what will happen after 5 years, it will drop it down to 900 watts. But again, you still have 900 watts, still more than the average computer. So it's like, I got this, don't even worry about it. That's why the people who have a 1 kilowatt kind of like 1000 watt power supply, they are chilling right now. It's like, yeah dude, 3090, I don't even have to worry about it. It's like, I got this bro, I got this. And when you buy something that bonkersly high, you also get luxury of modular cables, which allows compatibility, which right now, because Nvidia was trying to change the standard, you may like to actually utilize that. So these are 2 power supply that I found on Amazon that are like, good enough from a reputable brand, which is suitable enough for mid-range to high-end system, where you have one 850 watt, another 700 watt. Now the only reason why I'm recommending these 2, they were kind of normal-ish kind of price range, links down below, so be mindful of that. So do not cheap out on this. Even if you have to buy that as scalper prices, please buy that, simply because they are long lasting devices. And if you can buy, like, let's say for 10,000 rupees you have 800 watt, and for 12,000 you have 1,000, buy 1,000. Yes, you may be like, I'm overspending on that, but trust me, over long run, you will never have to be like, oh, this new graphics card consumes too much power. Your power supply is like, bro, I got this, don't worry about it, I got this. So that's the power supply unit division. Then we come to case part. Now this is one of the thing that is non-electrical, so inherently it has no expiry date, it is everlasting. You can easily have, like, there are many people who actually do that. It's like they have sleeper PC where it's like 20-year-old cabinet and they are still utilizing. 10 years is easy. Like if you have a like I almost have my Cooler Master high airflow system, it's almost 10 years old and I'm utilizing that. And can I put a high-end system in this? Absolutely, without any issue, including bonkers graphics card as like 3090, because it has the ability to hard drive caddy to be removed. So I can remove the hard drive caddy and easily fit in it. Don't even have to worry about it. And it has more than enough place for enough fans where it's like, dude, calm down, I can get this. So that's why people who invest in big bulky cabinets, you may be like, hey dude, that's overspending. Yes, but no also, simply because if you have to do in long term, you'll be like, dude, I'm so glad that I did that. So quality case will make everything easy. Basically, if you are in a situation where it's like adding parts, adding components, and you may be like, how often do I do that? Now again, if the answer is like barely or ever, yeah, buy a case that like cheap out, where you don't have good wiring and all that. Just, it's not a big deal. But if you are a tinkerer where you're regularly doing that, that will frustrate you to all hell. And because of the good airflow, or every component lasts longer. You can be in a scenario like, I have water cooler for my CPU, I have a giant ass cooler for my graphics card, but what about the motherboard VRMs? Those may overheat, because if the case does not have good airflow or you do not have proper cable management, those things will be obstructed. Now again, computer can easily handle that, but over dust pile up, now try to do that like 3 years from now or 4 years from now, then those things can't handle the situation. So in those sort of scenario, you will be like, having a good case which is very easy to clean, very easy to dismantle, very easy to maintain, you will be like, yeah, that was a worthwhile investment. So people invest in case also. And larger case allows you to have like bonkers GPU. Like this time, basically Nvidia went all out, flat out. I'm pretty sure the 4000 series RTX card, they will be lower power than this, because this went a bit too high. They're like too goddamn high. It's like, this is not a graphics card, this is like a whole computer can be fitted inside the system. And I'm talking modern system. Like that's how the volume of the laptop components, and in that laptop you can actually have 1390 also. So this is too big, flat out too big. So practically speaking, do not cheap out on case. Now these things are the easiest investment you can make, and you can be damn sure that over long term, unless you have something bad happen to you, those will like carry on. The investment will carry on without you having any issue. And this is the easiest way to handle the shock of very expensive computer parts. So this was my presentation on how to upgrade computers in this shortage era, and I hope this era ends. But if you like this video or it was helpful for you, I would urge you to press like, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike. Press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment, because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.